Here's the latest loot with Twitch Prime.
Hey guys, we are live. I hope everything's working okay. This is my first stream on the new account and I literally just rushed everything. If everything sounds okay, maybe anyone watching can give me the thumbs up. Let's throw something on Instagram real quick. Alright, give me a sec, guys. Just posting this on Instagram to just let people know. This is going to be a short one just because basically we're going to do the Delid and I'll end the stream just because I have to head out somewhere this evening. But yeah, I just wanted to get this thing done live and have it kick off the new account. What we were doing, I was doing all of these on Twitch on my personal account, 66 Racer, which I hope is auto-hosting this. I'm not sure where to tell if it is being auto-hosted or not, but Sublime.tech mentioned not to laugh when I open this up, so it makes me think that it's ridiculously overpacked, like overprotected. So let's get this open and see what we find. Actually, let's get the knife out. So I'm in the garage. It's actually warm in here, so I'm doing a stream with the garage door open, partially open. And I normally do these so late at night that temperatures aren't an issue, so hopefully the neighbors are quiet. Okay. I'm assuming it's in there. I don't think this will get damaged. This looks well protected. But hey, when JT sent me his, John on Instagram sent me his, he had his in the retail box and it popped out of the little Intel holder, so maybe maybe Sublime heard about that. Oh, and it's taped with the happy face. That's awesome. Let's pop her open. Let's see. Cool, yep. That's a 6700K, alright. It's like the thermal paste and everything was nicely cleaned off. I'm just gonna put this under the light. Make sure everything looks nice. Cool. We look good to go. Let's get that out of the way. John, I hope you're watching. Okay, let's get the tools out. I'm keeping an eye on the chat with my Ryzen build, so you guys can kind of see the keyboard and everything in the picture there. I figured it was on the test bench, so why remove it? I'll just leave it there and have it play chat instead of my separate phone. I am on a time. I am short on time, but I wanted to get this done during normal hours when people are normally awake, rather than at 1 or 2 in the morning. But, you know, quality is always number one, so it won't cause any issues with that. So Sublime paid for my option number 2, which is the full delid and cleaning and everything. There is no before or after testing with that, but really that's just kind of for people that just want the data. He's had this running in his system already, so he knows what it does with his cooler and everything. Let's wipe this down a little bit. We'll be using Liquid Pro. What's up? What's up, John? No, man, we're gonna do a top-notch delid on your processor, dude. Let's get the table nice and clean. My wife is waiting to go to dinner, so I want to make sure I don't take too long. But I got these down to about 30 minutes, and then I'll let it cure in the clamp. You know, I'll probably, since I don't have any other delids today, I'll just probably leave it overnight. But really, it just needs to be in there about an hour. All right. I'm gonna actually see if I can make the text larger in this chat window. I forgot the shortcut, so I'm just gonna go, let's see, will this do it? Yes. Just have to increase the Chrome settings for like the blind. That way I could read it easily. Alright. So I'm just gonna blow off my tools here to make sure there's no lint. At this stage of the game it doesn't really matter, but I just kind of like things to be nice and clean. Which I'm sure you'll appreciate. Okay. Oh yeah, dude, I thought it was funny how you had it all bubble wrapped. I don't blame you though, better to be safe than sorry, but I thought it was funny. So I'm using the Rocket Cool delid tool, and it's pretty cool. It's marked. Let's get closer to the camera. Let's see how well we could get this focused in. So it's marked, guys. See the little triangle? So there's only one way to put this in. We just got to make sure this little thing, this little metal piece is what knocks off the IHS. Got to make sure that's all the way back. I am gonna. Well, his looks so clean. I'm not even gonna bother wiping it because I wipe it off before I assemble everything, anyways. So this is the scariest part for most people, even with the tool. If anyone's a car guy and they've done their own ball joints, they know that loud pop that sometimes a ball joint will make when you break it free. This isn't that loud, but it's kind of similar. And some of them actually come right off pretty easily, and some are like noisy and they make you sweat because you gotta crank on it a bit. And if this one does that, I'll explain how I go about that. Okay, everything seems cool. I hope my router stays working. I think my kids have dropped it so much inside the house that I've been getting connection issues, so I've reset everything and hope everything's cool on that end. these computers are in the garage and they're off of a media bridge, so hopefully that'll keep things simple rather than each one of them on their own Wi-Fi. So here, guys, it's all in. It's nice and tight. I try to make sure everything's nice and square when I put it in, and we just, you know, I run it in by hand, and you could see the screw will kind of move in. So now it's just gonna go down to cranking it. Now, when you're doing this, you could actually see the letters kind of shift over as it pushes it off to the side. So this is probably unnecessary, but what I'll do is once things start to get tight and it's not popping, I'll just back off a little bit just to help wiggle the silicone loose, and then I'll start cranking again. Let's see if this one makes a pop noise, if the mic could catch it. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard it. It popped. It's pretty uneventful. So I'm just gonna... Okay, yeah, so now it's totally free. Okay, I don't know. These cams probably can't pick up the detail, but there's zero resistance now. So at that point, I back off all the way. And we're gonna take this thing out and see if we still have a nice looking 6700K. Don't worry, John, I think I've done this before. Actually, this exact tool has done quite a few. I try to keep an eye on the tool for wear and tear, and everything still feels nice and tight on this tool. I got a second one, you know, so I could handle higher volume, and if anything were to ever break on this, I'm already good to go. So let's see, can you guys see that? Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're just gonna, I kind of put my finger down here at the corner, and then I just pull away. And there is the die of a cute little 6700K. And there's the bottom end of it all. Sweet, dude. Yeah, and yours wasn't even as loud as some of the other ones I've dealt with. So this one was kind of quiet. So the paper I'm using is it's from Kimberly-Clark. It's supposed to be like a lab grade paper. But honestly, man, this looks like tissue paper to me. But at least we know it's like their professional series, and it's under their KimTech lineup, the Science brand. So we're being scientific. I don't know if Science Studios would approve of that. I think he changed his channel. Oh, man, the name is escaping me right now, but I think everybody knows who I'm talking about. This is the only thing I do want to get higher alcohol content for wiping things, but 91% is just fine. This is the secret to the Delid, is getting everything super nice and clean. And I'm not sponsored by iFixit, but their handy dandy toolkit makes life easier. The two tools I use out of this kit are this thingamajig and this ice pick. So what's cool about the rocket kit is they now started to include, like, you know, this little wood one, which is really like all you would need to replace this. You could probably do a few CPUs with it. But this little guy is what does the magic for the bulk of the silicone removal. Yeah, it looked a little uneven, and it's not like it's kind of it was already starting to harden up. The NYX 4790K was actually really hard to remove. That was like brittle. So I'm kind of guessing like the Ivy Bridge guys, because Ivy Bridge is still a good platform, and the Haswell guys are gonna start to look to this more now as their CPUs age and they want to get like the most out of them. So let me see if I could get in a little closer for this. Sorry about all the shaking, guys. I want to show you guys how this looks when it all comes off. And we're just going along with the flow here. So I'm just gonna end up kind of running this along, and hopefully it comes off in one bead, which makes life nice and easy. Trying not to cover this for you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry. I might just have to cover this, guys, because it'll be a lot easier this way. I'm gonna move my light a little closer too. Hey, is the mic back? I don't know if the battery's low on this thing. It turned off, so it's kind of weird. I'm using the Logitech G930 wireless headset. So, I don't know if it maybe timed out because I wasn't talking enough. Kind of weird. Or the battery's low. Basically, I'm just removing the little silicone that's left along the lip of the IHS. Okay. Let's clean the bench off a little bit here. Just gonna wipe this down. Actually, wait. This is one of the little things I do. Just to kind of make sure the surface is okay, nice and smooth. I'm not literally trying to lap it, I'm just trying to make sure there's no like sharp edges or anything. And then once I see that crosshatch that looks like, okay, everything's kind of smooth and everything, I put this away. And this is, it's like, I think that's 600 or 800 grit. I gotta check the package. Where that was cut, it didn't really show, the number very well. So let's clean this off real quickly. I gotta still scuff the center. She looks good. So we do this just so the Liquid Pro will kind of grip it nicely. Wipe my hands down because now the clean part of the job comes into play. I'm gonna make sure I don't have anything on my hands or gloves. Alright, let's get the smaller tissue paper slash whatever this really is. Now with the totally clean one. Just make sure it looks like a nice mirror. This stuff does release a little bit of lint, which sucks because it was technically like low lint, but that's what my air compressor's for. So I'm gonna push down on it so it doesn't literally fly right out. And everything looks nice and clean. Got a drink of some coffee. Okay, this is one of the cool things I found for this part. These are like zero lint makeup brushes, like low to zero absorption and just all this fancy stuff so people can put makeup on nicely. That works great for applying the Liquid Pro. I'm going to take the mic off at this point, guys, so I could get in there nicely. Alright, that little drop is all we should need. And now, using this tool, we're just going to kind of work it in. Cover that. I'm just going to turn the slide away. That's better. Kind of gotta almost paint this on. Otherwise, unless you kind of get it to grip, it won't like actually stick to the surface later on. Now we gotta prep this surface for it, otherwise it won't really grip nicely. You can kind of see how it's like painting on. That way when the two surfaces touch, they'll just instantly like, you know, bond. All I could say is this stuff is like really weird, but it works really good. You saw like when I applied it, it was like a ball. You gotta work it in, and it you know, it'll stay like that. If you don't treat this end of it, it's like it won't want to grip it. It eventually will, I'm sure, but it'll almost rather push it away than bond to it. So that's that. Now we're gonna get silicone out and get ready to get these surfaces mated. Alright, what I use for this is REMISCStv, the right stuff. This stuff works really well. I don't use as much as Intel uses, and I've never had a problem with one coming off. I just wish they made it in smaller tubes. There is ultra black that I think is probably the same, but for me personally, I'm just gonna stick to using this. When I run out, I'm just gonna get another big tube, even though it's overkill, or if it dries up, just because it works so darn well. If you're doing this at home, just, you know, ultra black from Permatex will work just fine. I'm sure I've used it before on other stuff. So now what we're gonna do is I use my very scientific tool here, this little flathead, snap-on flathead, pocket screwdriver, and I just dab the little, I don't know, the ear or whatever you want to call this. And this is all I need to get it to stay on. Let's see, I'm just making sure it's nice and even. Heavy. I'm gonna go back and see in a second. Take a little bit off. Okay. And let's make sure we put this on in the right orientation. Almost there. And now what I do is I get my trusty quarter ready. So I'm just gonna push the CPU to make sure everything's nice and square, and the IHS, because technically this could come out a little bit off. Like, it's so minor, but if you're like a freak like me about it, it might bug you. So I try to make sure everything's nice and square when it goes back together. Okay. So the tool, normally just this is all that pushes down on it, but I like personally a more even spread, like a more even a more well distributed surface. So I use a quarter, which basically perfectly covers this surface. So, okay, let's just drop this bad boy on, and I'll be able to go get dinner with my wife. Hopefully she's not hangry, because I told her it'd be done around 7:30. So if you guys don't see me posting on Instagram for a few days, I may not have survived. I don't think she's watching. She's surprised me on stream before. Every now and then she'll watch. I don't know actually if I told her the new name though. Get this nice and square or even. I'm just gonna lightly push down. So alright, now that it's touching, what I do is I kind of just inspect it to make sure it's nice and even. I'll kind of lift up and then push down again, lift up. Just kind of work the silicone a little bit, and then now I'll just leave it alone. And that will be it. That's a wrap. John, it looks like your CPU survived. I'll probably leave this in overnight since, you know, we're in no rush. I can't get it shipped out today anyways. And it should be in the mail back to you tomorrow. Guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you subscribe to the channel. Other than that, till next time.